Hopefully the Wi-Fi is working good. It says we're live. If we're live, we're here. Thank you. Welcome to Affordable Door and Gate. You got Dave, Uncle Dave here. So I'm going back with Evan. Love Mr. Evan. Got some great ideas here. So I want to talk to you guys about, hopefully the mic and everything's working. I want to talk to you about getting the phone to ring, right? We got to get the phone to ring. I feel like I keep coming back to this, some of the live streams and stuff like that. Papa Tony, myself, some of you guys, right? Do whatever it takes. I've been watching other forums, and there is just so many like people, and it's nobody's fault. It's a society that we're in, right? I mean, the culture, the schooling, they don't teach us this stuff. So, but the big thing is getting that phone to ring. So here's some things, right? I'm going to try to do this. I was going to do a video edit, but I just don't want to do the editing and stuff of it. So I'm here. I'm here now. You guys are more than welcome to ask questions. I see Mar's in the house. What's up, Mar? Hope you're doing good. Thanks for being here. Don't forget, hit the like button. Hit that like button. YouTube likes it. So anyways, a couple things, right? So I used to set my phone up all the time, and I had to repeat this thing. I mean, I would literally come in the office or be at home. I'd literally go outside in the garage. Sometimes I'd go outside, depending on what your neighbor status is. You know what I mean? I don't want to be out there like with their windows open and be like, hello, this is Affordable Door and Gate. And they're like, Jesus, this guy like keeps saying it like 20 times. What the hell? So I used to, because I used to screw it up all the time. So I would write it down sometimes and add things. And then I would rehearse, right? I'd rehearse until I liked it. Because normally you can do the repeat where it'll repeat back to you and you can, listen to it. And I go, that sounds kind of like I glitched or something. I didn't like that. So, you can do so many different things, but for like some of you guys like Evan and stuff, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, look, if you're on Google and you're doing pretty good, you're up there. I heard this. This is something I've heard. You should practice, like put your business as 24 hours. Oh, no, I don't want to I can't do 24. No, do it, because here's the thing. I'm not a scientist, or I'm not proven on this, but Google, if you do 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, Google demotes you, right? If people are, this stuff's getting so animated, AI, everything's getting so smart that if after 5 o'clock or whatever, or 4 o'clock or whatever you got set, the parameters, it's going to almost not show you. It might show somebody that has more reviews, or maybe in their review section, it had something saying that they came after hours. So it bumps them towards the top. If you do 24 hours, you might go towards the top a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And hey, maybe you got a free time, right? I mean, hey, Papa Tony always does really good on that kind of stuff. So you might be out there more. So I'm saying is do 24 hours, because here's the thing. Here is the thing. People in a nutshell, right? Some of it's kind of like cattle, right? It needs to be steered, right? So if somebody does call and you got the opportunity, and it's one of those things, like you got to be hungry, man. You got to be hungry. But like for me, it didn't matter. It was 4 or 6. And what I would do is I actually built a system. So for me, because I was using my personal vehicle, I was buying organizers. Buy organizers, get stuff set up, stage it somewhere, like tape it off in your garage or wherever you got a little storage spot or something, right? Tape it off. This is my designated go-to, kind of like the fire department, right? Like code red, ding, 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 ding. There's a fire, right? You grab your stuff, your bags, your little tool case, whatever you got. Boom, you throw that in the vehicle and you head on down the road. If you build yourself a checklist, that's very beneficial. You can do stuff like that, right? You can, boom. It's easier if you got a service vehicle, but it costs money. It's insurance. I don't recommend it. It's another thing to maintain. It sits out in the field or whatever too. Mice get in it. You're putting money on it, right? I mean, there's just so much stuff out there stealing our money nowadays. It's just not even funny. So if you want to use a personal, do that, right? But here's the thing, the phone, right? I remember sometimes it was like, hello, thank you for calling Affordable Door and Gate. We're sorry that we couldn't get to the phone right now. We're either with a customer or on the other line at the moment. It makes you sound more professional, right? It makes you sound like a bigger company. There's things you can do with that, or you can, if you're just going to stay as kind of the chuck in a truck, hey, this is affordable door and gate. You reached Dave, I'm sorry I can't get back to you right now. I'm either with a customer or I'm driving, I'm on, you can word it kind of however you want. If you'd please leave me a message after the tone with your name, a brief message and a phone number, I'll get back to you. If you'd like, what I would always do is at the end, I'd say, if you'd like a faster response, you can also try to text me. Right. And I know it seems kind of silly but you got to remember that everybody thinks different, right? Everybody thinks different than us. You might have a certain way you like your ice cream. Think of it as ice cream. Everybody's got different flavors, and they like it, soft and hard serve and all this stuff. That's how customers are. So if you tell them, hey, leave a name or a brief message, and you kind of conduct with them, and then also like they hear that because they hear it and they go, oh, I can also text this number. Wow, I'm really surprised, honestly, that we have not gotten into where I'm seeing it more on uh, Google, that we have some kind of like text messaging, like hit this number to text this customer. Now I know like for us it might be a little complicated because we're not using like cell phones. We use we use Ring Central, we use a central web based type system. But I still surprised Google doesn't have a way to direct it more of a like text based. Now I think they do. I don't know if I could see on here or not. I think they do have messages and stuff like that. But anywho, what I'm getting at is get the phone to ring. Worry about the rest later. Be polite. Explain to them the situation, right? And if you got a job, I mean, it seems like it sucks, And here's the thing: I did it too. I was working at a job. I mean, I literally was like walking in. I remember I'd be like walking in, like writing on the wall, like, what? Yeah, okay, what's that number? I got press big machinery behind me, pumps and everything running, and I'm like, yeah, okay, we'll plan on seeing you tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Yep, okay. You know what I mean? Where now, and then the thing is what you got to do is there's software. I haven't done it in a while, but I don't know if the iPhone, how good the iPhone is on it, but you can record the conversation, and that was godsend. That was godsend because I could go back and I could hear the road because maybe I missed it, I misspelled it. And I'm like, because what I would always do too is I would always Google the address, as quickly as I could to verify, like, oh, here, okay, here's the house. I can actually zoom in now that you got Google Earth. You guys got it made. You got Google Earth or whatever, Street View. You can look and go, okay, yep. They said it was a 16 by 7 door. It's white. Their house is just a ranch or whatever little clues, or we got a lot of cars, and our, we'll have to get a few cars moved. And yep, there's a lot of cars. I zoomed in. There's a lot of cars in that place. So, there's just so many ways, but you want to get the phone to ring. Worry about the rest later. Don't, and I sit here and think about it and I go, well, somebody's going to write me a bad review. Okay. They do. Something didn't go right, didn't go in their favor. This person, whatever, maybe not. You know what I mean? 3/4 of the time to 95% of the time, it's going to go in the favor, or they're just going to say, well, I really need to find, and you can be honest with them, say, look, I just can't get out there. I can get out there after 4, and you can fuzz it however you want. You can tell them, say, we're pretty booked up today, but you know what? I can probably still get you in after about 4 o'clock if that would work for you. Actually, you know what? That will work great because then I'll be home and I know it kind of stinks sometimes. You're like, oh, the customer, but honestly, that's when they can write you the check. They can give you the cash. You go out there, you can look at it, right? Maybe it's something where you get their car out. They got a car trapped or something. They got an Uber or whatever for the day, or their daughter or son came and got them or something. Who knows? And you look at it, get your measurements. Okay, I got what we need. You know what I mean? I'll come back tomorrow. Spring clamps, something like that. That's a good stuff too, right? You could spring clamp it. If it's a broken spring cable, hopefully maybe you got some cable stuff. Maybe you say, you know what? I defer, I must have left them at the last job or something. Let me run back. I'm going to go get them, or I didn't grab those when I was at the shop. All those kind of things. So many different things. What's Mar got here? Rich B. You can link Google Messages to your text. I do that. Yep. So yeah, so you can do, I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff you can do. Like I said, I don't really play around with it but I definitely can see where I've noticed, even like when I use like the good old Service Spring. Service Spring has opened up so many ways to order that I go, thank goodness, right? Because sometimes there's just I'm in situations, you're on vacation, you're in a hotel room or something, and you're like, I got to get that order, man. I forgot about that or something, right? And you're like screaming kids or whatever's going on. There's a party behind you, and you're like, I don't want to be on the phone trying to yell at this person. It's rude to them, and you're just like, text it right or whatever. You message it, you add it to your cart, boom, you get it on order. So there's just all these different things, but just some things about the phones. Like I said, consider 24 hours, on your Google. Like I said, same day service. Wink, wink. That works. Same day or next day. You can do that same day or next day. That gets people right because that's what happens most time with residential. It's the broken springs, the door's crooked. Maybe we gotta replace this thing. It's getting time. Let me give somebody a call. You just got to get really sharp on the phone is what you need to do. You need to figure out how to, and I think it just takes practice. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna fail. We all do. I've done many times. I still do to this day. And you're gonna be on the phone. You're gonna say something. They go, well, I don't really like that, or don't. I'm not really interested, or something. Maybe I'll call around. Okay, not a problem. We'll figure something out. Thing is too is obviously if you're starting out, you have low overhead. So your prices are going to be probably pretty rock solid. So that's something to also look at. They might like the price versus they go, what? The other guy wants three, 600, 800, $1,200 to do springs. No way, Jose. Like this guy said he'll do it for like between two and $300. I'm definitely going to give him a shot. And it just depends, because I think one of the things is that a lot of people don't think about is that, college is a lot of money. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of money. And what can happen is this is college. You know what I mean? Like you're getting a free education. Now, yes, would it be nice to make a few bucks? And yes, but I mean, you can go spend all the time at college and spend, 10, 20, 30, $100,000. And there you go. You know what I'm saying? So it's just something you got to think about. Something you got to think about. You guys are more welcome. If you got any questions that you're more welcome to jump in, throw them out there. Otherwise, I don't know how long I'll stay on here. It's kind of early. I kind of had some plans, waiting for somebody to message me, but nothing's happened yet. Hello again, Dave, Mr. Evan, the one I was thinking of. Like I said, that's why I'm explaining to you. Like I said, the 24 hours. Evan, didn't you send me that video about the extension spring, the guy that was all about the extension springs? For some reason, I feel like I lost it. I wanted to talk about that at one point, do a little clip on it. And I want to at least give you the credit. So, but anywho, like I said, yeah, I sent that a video. I don't know which way you sent it. I don't know if it's in the email or, I mean, I can dig it up through the YouTube, but I was looking through comments, text messages. I didn't see it there, and I didn't look too hard in the email, but I didn't see it there either. Anywho, like I said, but like I said, with the phone, you can set it up. It's in a message. Oh, perfect. I don't know why I didn't pop up. I've seen other ones, but you can, with the phone, like I said, that phone you can set up however you want. And that's why I was explaining to you, Evan, too. Like I said, if you want a night off, you can explain it to them. Say, hi, you've reached, affordable door and gate. We're sorry that we're not doing 24-hour service tonight. We don't have a technician on board. You can word it like that if you want the night off. For me, I'd probably turn my phone up. I'd have it on screaming loud. And then what I would do is if I heard my phone, I'd probably let it go to voicemail. And I do a garage door or something, hi, you've reached, blah, 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 just maybe generic because, obviously it's kind of in between. Whatever. And then I also might put in there something about text. Say, you've reached our 24-hour service. If you need assistance, please also text us, or something like that. Do be aware that we do charge extra, for after hour service. And, it just sometimes neuters people a little bit because I've had some people that just like, there's some people out there that are just lonely. You know what I mean? They're lonely. And like I've had people call me at 8, 9 o'clock and they just think it's like it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Like they're like, hi, like yeah, I've been thinking about getting my garage door fixed, and you're like, uh-huh, uh-huh. Well, can we set up a time? And you're like, uh-huh. Okay. Like you really called me. And here's the thing, right? Something I've learned over the years. And honestly, I kind of do it too. You know what I mean? Like, there's been some stuff I wanted to buy from some small local mom and pop shops or whatever, right? they're not open after hours. They're not open on the weekend. So if you're available, and it might be somebody that's just like, hey, and like I said, it might be just kind of you know what I mean? Maybe they can send you some pictures. Maybe you say, I can look at it maybe this weekend, and they're like, yeah, okay, it's just something been 2 years old. You never know what's going to come through that phone. The biggest thing is though, is you're trying to get that phone to ring. Like I said, I have no doubt in my mind that even Google has something. I'm sure if you talk to the software engineers or whatever, that people clicking on that or using their phone, everything is tracked. I have no doubt that there's activity on there. And so whatever you got to do, it's happened to us even, right? All since like one phone call comes in, we get three more phone calls. I see it on Facebook, right? Facebook does it all the time. I don't know what the hell's going on. You go to sell something, right? It'll be sitting there for like a month, right? An ad or something. You're selling just some little item or something. Nothing. You get one boop, right? Little bloop. Somebody starts messaging, and all of a sudden, like two more people come in, like, hey, is this still? And you're like, where have you guys been? Like, why on the same day you guys are all messaging me? Craigslist used to be like that too, And so I think that's why, for me, honestly, if I'm going to buy something, even on old Facebook, uh, I make sure I'm ready to pull the trigger. Like when I'm like, either I'm going to pay the price, or I'm going to get a little bit down, or I'm ready to drive there like right now, because I know once I start putting activity in there, they might all of a sudden they might bloop off to other people. They put it more on the list, and then it's like people, well, I got somebody else that said they'll give me full price. I just had one not too long. I was looking at a saw, and the guy wasn't. I'm like, I said, would you consider? I always ask, would you consider? So would you consider this offer? And he's like, yeah, I would. But he goes, if I get something better, I'm out of state right now. I won't be back in for like 3 weeks. And I'm like, yeah, that's not, I'm sorry. Like, that's not going to work for me. But thank you so much, and if something changes, I will let you know. So you just never know. That's just my weird side thinking. Do. It's in message. But like I said, Evan, if you got anything else too, like I said, but I worked this thing, man. I worked this thing hard. So hard the little sloppy things flopping. I worked this thing hard, man. When I was hungry and I wanted, like I said, I didn't care if it was $20, man. That was it was $20 that was mine. $20 you made, $20 that you know, maybe you didn't have to go, to just whatever, buy you a meal. Um, all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? So you just do what you got to do. And like I said, something might be small, it might turn into big. It's like you're trying to build momentum. You're trying to build activity. People start seeing you. People, I've had neighbors come over, they're like, oh, hey, you do, like I'll be outside. They'll be out like watering their grass. I know you can be watering no grass and be icicles right now, but people just, hey, hey, you know what? I got to run to the store real quick. You run to the store, people, it's like you're building this like energy around you that people can tell. They're like, man, this guy's got a different aura to him. Like, what do you do, man? What do you do? I catch it all the time. When I'm dealing with contractors and stuff like that, they can smell it. It's like they're always like, what do you do? I'm like, what do I do? I'm like, I don't do nothing. Change that phone around. Biggest thing, get that puppy to ring, man. Just whatever it takes. Handle it from there. Change your voicemail. Like I said, I wouldn't worry. I was just watching something. Evan, if I find it, gosh, I can't remember where I seen it. It was on Facebook or what it was, but somebody was talking about the whole idea of you working another job and you're doing it after hours. And they were basically saying how to don't don't not do that. You know what I mean? Like have a job. I got a family member, right? That's done that, right? Just took the full cold plunge challenge, right? Just kind of, and it's like, the phone doesn't just start ringing on its own. I mean, it's a lot of hustle, a lot of hustle. So whatever little niche you can get above, and that's why, like for me, I had on my stickers, everything. I did same day service, man. And I tell you, I got a lot of business from that. That was a big one. People, because they think it's an emergency, right? When their car's trapped, right? I mean, they think it's an emergency. Like, oh my gosh, like my car's trapped. I need my car. I need my car. I got to go to the doctor's appointment. Blah 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 blah. So there's all kinds of stuff you can do to help kind of, And then eventually, like I said, one day you might just go, you know what, I'm not offering this more. Cause we ran into it a little bit when we started getting busier. People would be like, well, it says same day service. So we kind of got rid of it. And it was like, well, we do offer same day service, but it's a premium. It's basically considered emergency service. And they're like, oh, and it's like, yeah, so it's like another $100. Do you want to pay that? And they're like, well, no, like I'll just wait till tomorrow. That's fine. So you can change stuff around as you go. Oh, I didn't know I could do this on here too. Son of a biscuit. Sent in messages. Perfect. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else on the phones. I still like the idea that you change your phone every day. If you want, change it to, I used to be, it was like, hi, you've reached Affordable Door and Gate. This is Dave. I'm in the office today from, what would it be? It'd be, I'm in the office today as of 1/9 of 25 till 4 p.m. today, or to 8 p.m. today, whatever you want. You know what I mean? You can leave me a message. And then, on my breaks at work, my 15-minute break, my 20-minute lunch, I mean, I was always checking that phone. Like I said, if I had the way to sneak out for a second and I just had, and then even if somebody said, hi, you can just call me back, blah, 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 and you don't have the opportunity, I'd text them, shoot them a text. Hey, I got your message. Hey, I'm in a really loud spot right now. Like, can you, but I wanted to reach out to you. I got your message. I could look at it today if you want. And they'd be like, yeah, that's great. Like, let's do it. You just never know what's going to bite. It's almost like you're fishing and you're just trying to put out as many hooks as you can. You know what I mean? With all kinds of different bait and lures and bobbers and shiners and all that kind of stuff. Let's see here. Which one do I look at? I'm in a different software here. So I'm like, where do I look? 90% of my jobs I've done same day service. There you go. So, I mean, if you're already kind of doing it, like I said, I'm always curious to how the algorithm works. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm always curious. So I look at it like, especially when you're hungry and you're just starting out, man, just flood that mofo. And I heard through another guy that was talking about it, he said that Google, if he said he was changing his to 24-hour service because it would it won't show you after hour. I mean, it shows you like how it is. They're there, but you might get bumped up because you're offering 24-hour service. So they see that they might go in and go, oh, same day service or 24-hour service. That's what I did when I started out. Hardcore. I remember one we missed. I was bummed. It was for the UPS, the big UPS building. We didn't get back to them till the morning. Somebody didn't follow up. We weren't really doing. I was really bummed about that one. I was like, man, that was always wanted to get into the UPS place. They got so many doors, but it didn't happen. We missed it. We called them back. They're like, oh, we already had somebody else. Like, fudge, you know. Evans guy says if they call at 3 a.m., he says I won't hear it. And that's and that's what you can do. You can uh it just kind of all depends. So like I believe I haven't done it in a long, long time. Like I said, it's been 8, 10 years since I monkeyed with my phone. My phone, my Samsung, anyways, it could stand up, it could jump around, the light would start flashing. You could hook it to like a tether to your leg, so it starts zapping you, wake up. An alarm clock, a light that turns on in your bedroom. Or, like I said, if I mean, I used to have two. What was the one I used to do? I used to have it so I thought I could flip the voicemail. What is it? Yeah, because you got one that's like what do they call it? What do they call it? It's like a temporary greeting or something in your, at least in the deep in the voicemail, that I used to be able to set up. So yeah, honestly, for a lot of the newcomers, you got to have discipline, man. You got to have fire. You got to be like jacked up, man. You got to be like crazy. You know what I mean? Like you just got to do everything. That's what I did, dude. I crawled, just crawled. I stole it all. You know what I mean? Like somebody say something, I'd be like, "What?" Like, "Oh no." Like, "How much are they charging you?" I mean, I was digging deep. I was digging deep, man. It was like, "They're charging you $65 for a service call?" dang, man, that's a shame. We charge 45. They're like, what? You charge 45? I'm like, yeah, but you already got somebody. It's cool. It's all good. And they're like, oh, no, no, no. I'm going to call this place back, man. I'm going to be like, and I'm like, because I was hungry, man. I was desperate. I had bills to pay, man. I wanted out of the rat race. I wanted out of the shop, man, so bad. I'd work with these people. And they'd sit there every day. This place, this, and this, and this, and this, and that. And this place sucks, you know. And I'd sit there and I'd be eating my food, right? And I'd be like, the door's right there. It'd be summer day. I'd be like, the door's right there. It's open. You can walk right out it. Like you can leave. Oh man, I can't leave. I got bills, Okay, well then like just live with it. Like come to work. They make it so easy. They give you a 15-minute grace period for goodness sakes. It's not that hard. And but like I said, for me, I jumped ship a little bit too soon. I would have wanted a little bit more capital. Um, because we started out with zero pretty much. I mean, I remember when we had only 1,000, 1,200 bucks and we were scrimping, man. It was like every week it was like, well, how much you want this week? Like we both had house, me and my partner and all that. So we had bills. So it was like, sometimes it was 300 a week. Sometimes it was 400 a week. I don't think it ever got over 600 a week. But then when you would start getting some doors and stuff, ooh, it got tight, man. It got tight. So if you could have a little nest, and like I said, it just takes time. Um, you can just start sending out those letters. You can do those bandit signs, anything to get that phone to ring, right? That's the biggest thing. And then eventually, you'll turn into Affordable Door and Gate one day. You'll have two secretaries, you have employees, you'll have all this stuff, and you'll be like, what the heck was I thinking? There's so many moving parts. Um, it's all good though. We're all thankful. We're all thankful. Put food on the table, right? So, I mean, let me think on the phones though. I can't think of any more on the phones. Just got to be hungry. You got to be disciplined. I'd get to work. Shoot, I get there, whatever, 5:30, 6 in the morning before I have an hour and a half, 2 hours before anybody shows up. So I could reprogram the phones. I went through, I do the shop phone. I'd also do my phone, my work phone. And I mean, I was doing everything because it just never failed. Never failed. You're always there with a customer or something, right? And the phone's ringing, and the last thing you're like, man, I really would like to answer this. And the customer's like, oh, you can answer it. And you're like, yeah, I can't really answer it because like I know this is going to be a 10, 15-minute phone call. You know what I mean? That's what it turns into. And I can't do that in front of you. So the phone setup is very important. You just got to word it. Like I said, I remember, man, I was scrimping. I was like walking in the shop. It'd be like, it was back when we started the business. We had the 06, 07, 08 crash, and we had to go back to work. So, just went right down, right? Just didn't have enough capital, didn't have enough customers, whatever, right? And so I went back to work. I was working second shift. No, I must have been doing probably, I don't remember if I was second or third, but I just remember, man, the hustle was real. Going back, answering the phone. I remember my phone would be like literally in my pocket. And that was when I screwed up. I remember when I was doing the ad in the phone book it was like $90 per phone call. And I remember my phone would be ringing and I'd be like sitting there and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like this is going to be $90 if they leave me a voicemail. And so I'd like literally like have to be like nobody's looking at like answer my phone and like hang up because I have 30 seconds. So I'd have to do that like three times because sometimes the sons of biscuits would call me back and I'm like, no, I'm like, I'm not gonna get charged $90 for this freaking phone call I can't take. You know what I mean? And so I'd be like I already got a $2,400 bill, for the month of last month because I just let it go through and you just get so many people. So you don't, that's why I always kind of, slow and steady, keep it small, keep it all. You just build slow because I went to the moon, baby. And it was like, advertising. We just need more advertising. Yeah. Well, they want to take your money. That's the big thing. What else you guys got? You guys got anything? I think I did enough ranting. 24 hours, same day service, same day or next day. I kind of feel like same day is kind of rough, especially if you got a job. Um, same day or next day type of thing. You can always advertise. I learned the same day from Chicago down in back in the day. I don't think they even do it now. I used to, anytime I traveled, I would always go in the phone book. That was the first thing I'd do. Like I go in the hotel room and I'd get the phone book and I'd be like, garage doors. And I'd be like looking up. I'm like, who's this Precision? Like Precision? Who are these guys? I seen a billboard. Who's these guys? And I'd be reading like same day service. And I'd be like, oh, I like that. I like that. That's catchy. I'm going to add that to my business. And then, I just see other things, whatever they would list, I would start doing it. So it's kind of fun. It was kind of fun. You just do what you got to do, man. I mean, that's just like I said, it's so hard. People don't realize the average people do not realize how hard it is to get the phone to ring. I mean, and eventually it will build a vortex and it will start ringing once you start building customers. And then eventually you got to have a secretary or a girlfriend if they're any good. That can always be a you know, what I mean? It can cause a separation, let's say. So it's tough. It's tough. Do all kinds of stuff, man. Just do what you got to do. I've worked basically 3 jobs. I had worked at the shop, the factory, and then I was working for the DPW plowing part time. Man, I mean, I'd just come into work like drunk. Next day, guys would come in like, "What are we doing today, boss?" They're all chipper. I'm like, I don't know. I made it. I'm gonna go sleep in my truck for like an hour. So you guys are doing this today. You're doing that. Yeah, I'm so tired. Yeah. I don't know if anybody else is like this, but when I get tired, I get hungry. It's the weirdest feeling. I don't know how to explain it. It's like you just have this weird inner, like, man, I'm hungry, and you keep eating, but it's not like you're not satisfying it. And I don't know if it's because like my body's like saying like create energy, like to keep going. And yeah, I'm hungry, and I'm like, dang, I'm not hungry, man. It's like I am tired. So you do all kinds of crazy stuff. And the worst part for me was always when you do the plowing, the next day would be snow. And so they'd be like, well, you're going to come in again tomorrow night. And you're like, oh, dude, you're at the end of your shift and you're just like, oh, yeah, I'll be here. Like, I guess I'm not going to get any sleep, but you just make it work. You know what I mean? If when you're young, you can do a lot of that stuff, but you start getting older, you get the girlfriends or the wives, or especially kids. Kids make that all like my kids were pretty young. I was still pretty hustling, but nowadays it'd be a little tougher. It'd be a little tougher. You do what you got to do, but it'd be, you like the time with them, all that good stuff. Let's see. Anything else on the phones? Phones, and more phones. I can't think of anything right off the top of my head. If anybody's got anything too, if you got any other questions off the topic, like I said, when I do the lives, you're more than welcome to ask. Always remember, obviously, on some of the comments too. I do comment. I try to comment always the first one, but sometimes I don't see if you re-comment, if it's not a brand new one. Just putting that out there. I have to go into YouTube a different way to see it. So I don't normally do that. I'm naughty about that. But you guys are always more than welcome to always email me at the Daveadubson@gmail.com. I put it in the description below. And somebody also have my number to text, all that good stuff. I always love all the pictures and that. Evan says, I think everyone is still working. Yes, they are. That's why I jumped on. Like I said, kind of quiet. Kind of like it that way because I wanted to do my little rant. But I'm here for you, Evan. Like I said, if you can think of anything when it comes to the phone, you obviously got my number, But you know, you're always welcome. Rich B, Burr, what's up, man? Dude, I tell you, that's right, man. Rich, we got done with that live last night with Mr. Papatoni, and I still had to clean my truck. Like I had to restock, some nuts and bolts and screws, and drop that opener off the half horsepower. And I was going out to the truck literally, and just when I was grabbing stuff out of the truck, my hands were just freezing. I'd go back in the office, and it was like, and then I'd go back out and do it again. And I was just in the shop, being in that steel building, man. It was just like, it's got to be 20 degrees colder in the shop than it is outside. It was wicked, man. I was like, I even went home and I was thinking like, you pansy. I was like, it's got to be 14 degrees out. I was like, that's my threshold. It's got to be 14 degrees. And it was only like 20, I think, maybe 19. And I was just like, you pansy. It's only 20. I was like, and I'm freezing. I mean, I was just dying, man. Couldn't believe how cold it was. I'm sure it's going to get, I don't know what it's going to get tonight. Let's see what the old inner web says here. I got a message. We got Tony, same song, different dance. What's he got? What's he got? Um, let's go over here. Another thing too. When I was thinking about it, I was trying to make like a little skit. I don't know what's the best way to do it. Like on Instagrammy, like how do you make like um I can try to pull it up. But I was trying to tell Papa Tony about it. So tonight, let's see, Thursday 20, 20, 20. But next week we got some 14, 13, 18 for the lows at night. So 20 again tonight. Cold, cold. I think we get a little snow tomorrow. Where is can I find that one? Um but this is what I was thinking though. Where is it? Let me find it. Sorry for um template. I don't want a template. I'd like to get out of here. What's up? What's up? Let's go like this. Um let's do leaving here was something. That's what I was trying to get at. Go like this. We're gonna cluck out of there. I think this is it.
Even I see the back of where they're doing the getting the
Gets to
meal ready, the food ready for the governor's ball. Yeah. I see a big tray. I'm like, I'm leaving here with something.
Leaving here with something.
You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something. Then my mother told me to get the flower arranged. True story.
So that's what I was thinking of last night when we were dealing with Papa Tony. It was that when you go do your service calls, I can't stress enough, especially when you're new and all that stuff in green. You got to get something when you're there. That's one thing I used to screw up on a lot, and I had a lot of customers burn me. With you do something like for instance, one of them I can think right off the top of my head. I remember this guy very vividly doing a spring clamp. Got there. I'm like, oh yeah, what we'll do is we'll come back because I normally didn't have a selection of springs with me, so I clamp a lot of springs. I clamped the spring, wind it up. Hey, we'll come back in a couple days and get you fixed up. And sometimes that also helped with my schedule because man, I was just. And I remember this guy called, like a day later, and he's like, "Hey man," he's like, you put that clamp on there. He's like, the door's working fine. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm like, but it's not right. Like the spring is going to break again. Well, when? I said, I said it could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, 6 months, could be a year. I said, I don't know. Well, I just want to leave the clamp on it. Like, let's just leave the clamp. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've already left the house. I already gave him, I don't know what the clamps are running, 20, $40, whatever a clamp is. And I'm thinking, I got my labor into this thing. And this guy's just like, no, it's good, man. Just leave it. Just leave it. It's good. And I'm thinking, no, it's not. It's not good because I got time. I got material. I got a clamp. I want my damn clamp back, And so when you go do what you need to do is always get at least a service call, possibly a spring clamp. You know what I mean? Even if you bump it up a little bit, just like, we had a little bit or whatever, or just eat it. But you got to get something because then what will happen is you tie that customer up because they know they already, and you just say, hey, look, we're going to take that. We'll take, you got to pay for the service call today, but we're going to take that off your bill. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't even know what it is, but the service call, at least today, minimum, which I already told you on the phone for me to come out, which is what is called, that pre-qualifying your customer, which you got to tell them, say, look, if we come out there, it's a $65 minimum. That's just for labor. That does not include any parts or material. That's key because I forget how the secretary, one of my old secretaries was wording it. And we had blowback on one of it where the customer was doing like we determined that the way she was saying it, it was like a group kind of meeting. We determined because we were listening to the recording that how she was saying it, it did kind of imply like we could see where the customer would think that that's including material, which any common sense person obviously shouldn't, but we could see where there was a hint of that. So we always had to make it really clear that, there's a service call and we're coming out $65. Let's just use that. It's $65 for me to come out. And, that's non-refundable or anything, but there's 65. We will apply that to your bill. And once we figure out what the problem is. And so they know they got money tied up with you. You know what I mean? So they're already like, well, I already gave this guy money. Like, I don't want to use nobody else, that leaves behind where somebody behind the door comes in, they try to, well, how much did he tell you an opener was? 300. Oh, we do them for 275. Well, yeah, but I already gave him $65. So really it's only whatever, you know what I'm saying? So you got to always get something while you're there. That's why I like that. I'm not leaving here with nothing, And so, but you also have to do really good prep work when you're on the phone with them and explain that. So say, hey, I charge a service call. None of this, because you leave time in there. That's a problem. You go in there, you look at something, say, I'll come back. And these people just, they just go on la la land. I literally had one, we never got no money tied up, no money tied up. And we were probably kind of slow with our vendor. We might've been busy. Right. And, I forget, like, the customer's just like, do it whenever you can. It's a flip house or something. Right. We go out there. I remember we got a brand new door. Right. So we already unloaded the semi with this door, put it in the shop, took it out of the shop, put it in the van. Right. Two guys, we're going to go do a 16x7 today. It's supposed to be an easy squeezy. It's a nice sunny day, whatever. We go out there. And I remember it's like, we're like pulling down the road and it's like that house. No, that house, that house, man, that garage door looks brand new, man. I mean, like, I don't remember it looking like that. Like, it had a bit of crease down the center. Man, that garage door looks brand new. Do you think that garage door looks brand new? Hell yeah, the garage door looks brand. What the? Oh, hey, how you doing? Oh, hi guys, how are you? So, oh, I didn't realize I called three different places, and then the second one they came out and they must have got it done. You're like, well, thank goodness this isn't an odd sized door or a special track or low headroom and all this. Well, thank you, Mr. Customer, for wasting my day. So now we got to reschedule. Now we got to take this back to the shop, store it, which honestly, when you're just starting out, you don't want to do that crap, right? You're like, dude, I don't want to store this thing. Like, this thing's like $600. It's $1,200. I don't want to store this damn thing, you know? And especially if you don't have a lot of room, depending on where you're working out of and all that. The good old days. I hate when you breathe in and your nostrils freeze freeze shut. It's about -1 Celsius here. Dang. Oof, so cold. So cold. Evan says, I burned myself because a customer was asking me where to get angle iron. And I didn't know how to tell them not to, so I could mark it up. I already have a quote for opener install, and he has one for me. Yeah, you gotta, it takes time to, I got some of my vendors too. Like, I would tell my vendors, I'd build such a good relationship with my vendors. I'd be like, hey, like, one day if I call you and I'm like looking for a price, I'm like, I'm just gonna like repeat a price back that's gonna be wrong. Like, just play along. Most of them would. So like if I was getting a price on something, I'd be like, so let's say it's 600. I'd be like, it's $600 for that door. And I'd be like, oh, so it's 700. Okay. Okay, cool. Not a problem. All right, thank you. And then I didn't have to like snowball the customer. You know what I mean? I'd be like, all right, like, so the door's 700. And they'd be like, oh, okay. And I'm like, I already marked it up $100. I'm like, our labor is $250. And then, oh, you got a wood door. So you want us to dispose of that? Now, here's the thing. Josh, his card's right there somewhere. Cool dude. Josh was the one that keyed me off. You know what I mean? Like, when I was talking to him one time and he goes, yeah, I charge them a disposal fees. Like, I charge them to haul away. Like, that's their property. And I was like, dude, like, the way you're saying that is amazing. Like, I've never thought about these. Like, well, they've had it on their house for 20 years. He's like, and I thought, hell yeah. I thought nowadays for me, because I used to, my van and stuff would get so full. I had a trailer I'd pull and stuff, would get so full of crap that it was like a nuisance, really. And then you think about, at the end of the day, I got to clean the crap up. Now my brain was always like, ooh, monkey, like, ooh, it's scrap metal, scrap metal. We got scrap metal around here. Anyways, scrap metal is not worth really nothing. It's almost like garbage. You know what I mean? So now I think of it, I go, that should have been an add-on. I should be like, you want us to haul your old door away? 'Cause some of them even kind of fringe if it's got glass in it, if it's foam, like they're like, you know how it is. Like, you even know when you pick up the door, you just look at it, it's like, this door is mostly foam, there ain't really no scrap metal in here, but whatever. And you scrap it. Fiberglass doors, same thing. Should be charging. The hell with them, right? I'll put it out by the road for you. Or you can have Uncle Bobby come over here and take it. Maybe he wants it for scrap. You know what I mean? If I take it, it's $40. I'm not a garbage service. You know what I mean? Like, so just something I never thought about it, like, hey, that's good. Do we practice it? No, I don't think it's preached in the, we do with wood doors. Wood doors are like $40, but that really should even be more. Cause, we had such an inconvenient with them, cause we had a small dumpster that we had to still even cut them pretty much in half. And I've told the guys, I don't think they ever do it. They just don't want to inconvenience. They got to go down 15 minutes down the road from the shop. And I'm like, dude, if it's in your truck, just like go to landfill and pay for it and just be like done with it and we'll reimburse you instead of like taking it out of your vehicle, setting it next to the dumpster, waiting for somebody to cut it up, or you do cut it up, or struts when they got metal struts on them. Those suck. Do is it Oaklish? Oaklish? Oh, I'm butchered names, man. Whack, I butcher them. H, we'll call you H. No clamp. He says until I signed for a further spring replacement. I usually explain that's a safety concern for us. If you leave clamp and both springs will snap, it will destroy the door. You get the video I sent you. I think I seen something come through, Rich. So it's there. Um, hold on, I'm just shush. Kids. So anywho, let me message this. Sorry. Do, do, do. Da-da-da-da. Oh, look at that. The little one. Gotcha. So, anywho, where was that? So the clamp, right? Yeah, it's kind of a hard one. I never frown too much on the clamps. I just know if you're using spring clamps, wear safety glasses. Wear safety glasses. The clamps never bother me too much, especially if there's an opener, because I normally would I keep about a turn off the spring clamp. My biggest thing is obviously I look at it so much that you have to pre-qualify the customer before you go out there. That's my biggest thing. You know what I mean? Like a lot of guys, kind of have this like swag, well, I close every deal. Good for you. Good for you. I am so glad. You know what I mean? Unfortunately for us, we don't close every deal. We have a lot of customers that like to waste our time. Residential customers love to waste time. It's not coming out of their pocket. They don't give a rat's hiney. They don't care that you're missing time with your kids and your family or want to go camping. They don't care. You know what I mean? So I always like to pre-qualify, if they can tell you. And like I said, nowadays with the old phone, everybody's got one. Everybody's got one. And hey, can you go out there and take a few pictures? I mean, I used to have people on their portable phones, right? That's how old I am, right? On their landlines, with the wireless phone, right? Not a cell phone, wireless, right? Like the Panasonic, the big ones. They're like you could hear like getting scratched. Can you still hear me? And I'm like, yeah, like I can still hear you. And they're like, well, I'm like looking at it. What am I looking for? And I'm like, well, do you see a separation? Well, I got 3 springs. 3 springs? Yeah, the one on the one side's 2, and then there's 1. Okay. Yeah, that's a separation. That you actually have a broken spring. That's what I kind of figured. So you have a broken spring. So I mean, you're in the ballpark. How big is the door? 16 by. Okay, so you're maybe like 250, 350 somewhere in there. Well, I don't know, but we got to get it fixed. So if you can come out here, yep, not a problem. We'll get you scheduled in. Do your little thing. Head out there. You already primed the prompt that they actually expect the money. And but my biggest thing is you got to get something. Even if you go out there and you go, oh crap, man, this is a wood door. I ain't got springs for this. Or maybe you can clamp it, maybe you can't. Right. I got to get a service call. You know what I mean? Hey, I went out here today, spend some time with it a little bit. If you feel bad, go around, buff out the photo eyes, take the cover off. Yeah, well, I'm here. I'm going to go ahead and do a preventative maintenance on this thing. What do you think you want to do? Like, and I'd have to be honest with the customers. Sometimes I have to tell them, say, look, we're going to put $300, $400, $600 in here for springs. Have you ever thought about replacing the door? Because I mean, for $1,200, now these are old numbers. We could put a whole new door. They're sitting there. Oh wow, yeah. I mean, well, we've been really thinking about it because I know this one's pretty old and it's getting rotted at the bottom. It is. You know what I mean? And I always like to be honest with them. You know what I mean? Because I really hate for spend that kind of money. The springs will never be used for that, because they always sometimes that's what they turn into too. Right? Well, can you use those springs? Can you use those springs on the new door? No, 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 no. That's not going to happen. So big thing though is just get paid, get something out of them. That way, if they walk away or go, you know what, I went to the store and I got a price and you know what, I'm going to put it on the old credit card and maybe you don't offer that or something, or you can say that's fine. Do you want me to still install it for you? You can always purchase the door. There's always ways to kind of spin it. Um, their window. He's got Rich B's got. He says their window. The window shoppers. The window shoppers. Yeah, I learned many years ago, like I said, there's so much that can be done on the phone before you get out there, and like I said, I love pictures. I can tell so much by pictures. Like I'm like, okay, they're driving a couple decent cars, they got this and this, or it's like, holy crap, like there's dead bodies hanging in the back. Hell no. You know what I mean? Like, hey, what's in the background there? Like, is a Halloween? Oh, okay. Like, you're gonna take those down? Like, those are in the way, or like you see racks. They like to put racks above the garage doors. That's always fun, and they're buried up in there, and you're like, oh my gosh, I know this is gonna take me an extra 2 hours. You know, there's just so many things that if you can. And I think honestly, I think Papa Tony was leaning towards that a little bit. We didn't get down that rabbit hole, but I think he was leaning towards when he was talking about he said mentioned something about like Dave, he goes, I was thinking about you. Something about like kind of like that slow down, and I think there is a lot of I was one of them. I mean, I was just like I was thinking my we had a contractor that we always picked on another contractor because we would call him Yaya. And I was like, where did that name come from? Like, where's Yaya? And he goes, because that's what he does on the phone, Dave. He goes, he'll always talk to people. He can't deliver, right? He was a horrible contractor. He even burned me a few times, but his nickname always got to be Yaya. So he'd always be on the phone with them. He'd, be doing concrete, doing a roof job. Or, yeah, 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 I can get there. Yeah, yeah, I'll get there tonight. Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he obviously can't do it. He's on a job. He's going to be here till 8 o'clock at night. Then he goes home. He forgets about the customer. All this other stuff He burned so many bridges. He's like one of those guys I always talk about. I'd sit down and have a beer with him, but I'm not gonna do business with him. You want to sit around bonfire or something? I have a beer with him, but I am not doing business with him. Anytime any money transaction, nope. I'm out. I'm good, man. Find somebody else. Because he was just but just think of that sometimes the yaya. You got to remember the yaya. So sometimes we got to slow down. I mean, we got to slow down. We got to make sure the customer is willing. Like I think of it as a marriage. They got to be willing to work with you, and you got to be willing to work with them. And it's gonna work out great. We're a good fit. Otherwise, I'd rather just drop them off now, right? I don't even want to go on the first date. I'm just like, forget it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not spending the 60 or 100 $200 on dinner. Forget this. I'm out. Oh, let's see here. So your support, it says on here. What else you guys got? Anything else out there? Anything on the phones? Anything you can add to the phones? Um, Can you believe I got Tony here? I got Papa Tony texting me saying something. He watching my videos. And he's saying, what does he say? Getting your older employees to respect you with that boyish look you had. I was young. I was young once. Oh, you guys got some stuff on there. I see you're sending me, which is awesome. I love it. All right, we'll get it about 5-10 minutes. Otherwise, I'll wrap her up. Like I said, I wasn't really planning on coming in here. I just didn't want to edit this video. I just wanted to talk about getting that phone to ring, do whatever you got to do. If you got to put banners out, if you got to change your stuff to 24 hours, if you got to put same day service, just do same day service. Screw it. Same day service. If you got to do same day or next day, you can word it that way. Don't be afraid. Like it's just, you start learning what works. And most of the stuff you do, you can always retract. Always remember that. Something doesn't work, you can normally retract. You can take it off the old Google. You can pull up the signs. Oh my gosh, I'm too busy. They're calling me. They're bugging me. Um, it's all about just getting out there and trying to get that phone to ring because and just remember you don't need to capture everybody. You know what I mean? That was probably one of my problems. I was a yes man. Sometimes not sometimes, like 30% of the time, right? You don't want to be a yes man. Yes, 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 ma'am. Yes, sir. Not a problem. We'll take care of it. Because some people know that they can smell it and they'll take advantage of you. It has to be a good fit. And if you're already feeling something from the get go, you might as well just call it off. I mean, there's so many times, and nowadays I just look at it like I used to get people that call me for like, let's say like high speed doors or something, and I'm like, They tell me where it's at, or it's kind of far away. And I just go, I go, we're probably, I'd listen to them politely. And I'd just be like, yeah, I'd be like, so we're probably not going to be a good fit. We still get a lot of builders, some of the big builders, they send us these proposals through the emails. And I'm like, ooh, I'm like, a builder sent me a proposal. Sweet. Click on it. And then it's like, it'll be in like wherever, man. It's like it's 5 hours away. And I'm like, no. I'm like, go fly a kite, man. I'm like, I ain't driving 5 hours one way for a job and to wrap up in a hotel and all that. No, I'm not even going to entertain this. This is not even worth the energy. This is not even going to be a good fit. Just like I would have done it back in the day. I did it for a fence contractor. We did the gates, and then we had to warranty them for a year. And we got quite a few jobs, but we kind of came out with like a flat rate. Now, mind you, this was years ago, which was basically $5,000. He would supply all the stuff. And the one we did, which was up in Traverse City, Michigan, I'm surprised we never got burned. It was a big barrier arm and had fence on it and everything. And we got that thing running. But I remember it seemed like he'd always come behind us and be like, hey, the maintenance guy here wanted, like, do you want to do a service contract? And I'm like, no. I'm like, we do not want to come up here, because you know when they're going to call. They're going to call in a blizzard, especially when you're in Michigan with all the snow. And I was like, no. And nowadays, they wanted us, a security guy wanted us to go up and do another one. And he's like, hey, do you go up there? And I'm like, no. Like, I mean, it's not even worth. You start getting to a point where you go, I don't even want to give you anything. I don't want to give you an estimate. I don't want to give you numbers. I don't like, well, hey, I see you kind of put a high price on here. Yep. Because I don't want that job. Well, somebody came in, but they were only, they were like $5,000. Now you're like sitting there going, well, maybe. And like I said, it all depends on what you want to do, how hungry you are. Maybe you got a group of guys, maybe you got buddies that are always like totally just sleeping under bridges, and you can like have them help you all the time. I mean, then you're golden. But some of those jobs, I can normally tell with the customers right on the phone right away. I'm like, this is not going to be a good, whatever they got. Well, hey, we're trying to. I'm really looking for those extension springs on the side. The door works fine. I don't need to replace the door. I've already called a couple other places. Okay. Yep. But it's a one-piece flip out door. Okay. And it just all depends. I'm like sitting there going, if I go there and this guy wants, and I need it working by tomorrow because we're leaving to go to Florida. Yeah, that's because I'm probably going to have to take the spring off. I'm just going to send it right into Service Spring so that I can be like, here you go. You guys make it. You got it. You make it. And they'll do that. They're good about that, but it takes time. And this guy ain't got time. So I just go, there's another place. Have you tried calling this place? No, I'd try calling them, What's this one say? Rich B's guy. He says, I always say springs are like women shoes. No pair are the same. Interesting. And if they want to replace one, I tell them, if you had one shoe with a hole, do you just buy one? That's good. I like that. Thanks for bringing that up, Rich. Mr. RB. That's a good one. It really is. So my thing always was the only thing I could ever come up with was always brake pads, right? Because I always know typically people are so accustomed with brake pads. I always was just tell them, I say, well, it's like brake pads. I go, you normally just don't do one of the front, right? I mean, you might not do the rears, right? But you like if you do the front brake pads, you always do one, you always do the other. Oh yeah, for sure. That's kind of stupid. Well, that's kind of how a garage door spring is. And the way I always explain it to them, I always just told them when we used to have a lot more metal coat hangers. I got a few still stashed away, but everything's plastic now. But I always tell them the metal coat hanger, I say, your garage door spring is like a metal coat hanger. I said, how if you keep bending it, it'll get fatigued and eventually it will break, right? And they go, oh, yeah. And I go, that's your garage door spring. Every time you're using it, it's getting fatigued and it will break on you. And so they kind of, oh, okay, and most of the time, most people, I mean, I don't remember people fighting me too much on it. But to be honest, I mean, if it was really probably coming down to it, like it'd be one of those things like either I walk away or I would probably just say, like, it depends on the situation. Like I said, sometimes you get those widow old people, man, they're struggling, you know what I mean? And those are like, so like when I normally go to places and they're like, you want to donate? I'm like, no. And I'm like, they're like, well, it's going, no. Like I donate. I used to donate like once a month. That's how my brain worked. I would donate once a month, do something good for garage doors, maybe give somebody a remote, maybe somebody get a free spring out of something or whatever, or a service call. Um, you know how it is. And I mean, you just know this person's like, they're hurting. They're not making it up. But most of the time they always understood it. And honestly, like I look at it nowadays and I go, to put you in the system that we did springs would be such a nightmare that it'd be unconstitutionally the unright thing to do. I'm saying this all weird, but I'm not doing it. Like I'm not doing one spring and not the other. Like we just cannot do it. Like I'd probably just do it for cost. Be like, I can do that spring. Like that spring's like $30, and they'd be like, well, I'm like, if you don't want it, like I'm walking, what I mean? Like, you're gonna have to find somebody else, dude. Cause, um, the one that's always kind of weird. I mean, I never did much extensions. I guess, yeah, you still always want to do one breaks, it's just same kind of concept on extension springs. But yeah, you learn. I mean, we ran into that problem with an oil change place. The guy that was working there, he was a cool dude, right? He was kind of the manager, under the manager type. He was like hit and miss. But I remember we'd always take the springs down and he'd be like rolling with the spring, be like, what's wrong with this spring? And I'm like, nothing really. I'm like, but it's used. Oh man, well, we should keep it, in case we need it. Well, it started getting an inventory if nobody was labeling them and stuff like that. And then we started like we were just doing one spring. Well, the big guy called me and I remember him saying, like, what is going on? He's like, you guys were there 2 months ago and did a spring. And he's like, it broke again. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, well, here's the deal, dude. I'm like, the problem is we still have the labor because we have to unwind the spring. We have to bring a ladder. We have to do all this stuff. We have to drop cables, whatever. I said, so, you're really not, I mean, it's $120 more when we're there for that other spring or whatever. But now you're spending 400 for us to come back to do, you know what I mean? So he's like, knock that crap off, man. And I'm like, gotcha. So anytime we had to like always like hide the spring or something, like throw it in the van right away and get rid of it. Cause that guy would walk around. He'd be like, what's wrong with that? I mean, he'd be like, the way he would say it'd be like, what's wrong with that? Can I take that home? And it's like, no, what are you going to do with it? I don't know. I don't know. But I think I should take it home. He was a cool dude. He was a cool dude. But you just gotta start setting your standards and say, nope, I'm not doing it. I listened to somebody or I do this or I got burned. I'm not doing it. Uh Sweet. Evan says he got the 24 hours changed. Like I said, anything. I mean, it's just even if it's a 0.5% to get you just one more call after hours. Cause you got to remember, like I said, I have no doubt that the algorithms know, because obviously when you do like Google, it has those things like you click, like 6 to 4 or 5, whatever, they see that kind of stuff. And that's just going to give you one more edge that, like I said, and hey, you know what I mean? Like, dude, my phone was always on. I mean, I was always just ready to be like, hello, hi, this is, you know, affordable door. I'm like, this is Dave. How can I help you? And they'd be like, oh, hey, oh, wow. Somebody actually answered. Hey, so I got a problem, blah, blah, blah. And you just go down that rabbit hole. Okay. Okay. Is it something we could schedule for maybe tomorrow? Oh yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? Or, well, here's the deal, and then you sit there and kind of scratch, you gotta go, well, do I head out there? How about I at least come out there and maybe I give you a hand. Maybe I can at least get the door open so at least you can get your car out, right, for the morning. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, now what if I come out and you don't even have to, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. That's a beautiful thing. You're the owner, and you can say it's gonna be $65 for me to come out tonight. That's the service call. So, I don't know how are you planning? Are you going to pay check, cash? Oh, I'll probably do, maybe I'll do a credit card. I'm assuming, Evan, you don't have credit card yet, have them do Venmo or something, Cash App. I hear a lot of problems with the credit cards lately. It is getting to be crazy. All the chargebacks they're doing, a lot of scammers going on. So you find out, okay, so that's all pre-qualified, primed, got the pump all ready to go. It's primed. You get out there, you do what you said you're going to do. It's 65. Okay. So I can measure what you got, whatever. Yeah. Okay. So you're probably looking at, it's going to be an additional $100. Okay, okay. Well, when can you come back? Well, we can put you in the schedule. Let me look, blah, blah, blah. Let me text you when I get back to the shop or however, you can. So, like another thing, which was a kind of a trick I used, we used to get a lot of people that would run into garage doors, and our vendors are roughly an hour away one way. We have so many vendors that's probably 3 or 4 of them that have like 16 by 7s and stuff like that in stock. So I don't have to stock it. And you can even use the box stores. You know what I mean? You might want to upgrade springs or something. I don't know. It just all depends, right? What you want to do. But what you can do is what I was always doing. It I would actually just tell them, say, well, let me check. If our warehouse doesn't have it, let me check the other warehouse. And they'd be like, whoa, like, dude, this guy's like, oh yeah, it's a warehouse. And say it was my warehouse. I just said I'm gonna check the other warehouse. So what I would do is if it was a code red, um, I would actually get them because I knew, you just get in a weird situation. Well, we really need to get this door going. We got a family event this weekend. We're gonna have a party. I don't want my door like this. We're leaving town for a month or for a year, or whatever they do. We really need to get this. And I'd be like, all right, no problem. Tack on another 100, $300, whatever, $600, whatever you feel. And I'd run out to the vendor because I knew that, especially if it's a standard size door, I just might not carry it. And so now I got a premium out of them, right? For that extra time that's going to take me to go to the store. So there's ways you can just spin it. It's all verbiage, just what you say. Hey, let me check around. Let me get back to you. If you don't know, I always told all the secretaries, all the guys at one point, like, dude, if you're on the phone and you don't know, your option is, I don't know. Let me get back to you in a few minutes. Let me call you back in 5, 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Take a minute, breathe, think about how you're going to answer this question or do whatever. I don't know. Right. That just stops it all. I'm sorry. I don't know, but I will find out for you. So little tricks of the trade. You can do whatever you want. Like I said, it's just biggest thing is just get that darn phone to ring, man. Get that phone ringing. You want to be on that phone because you'll learn so much by being on the phone and listening to customers. And then you get there and you see it and you're like, oh man, this is why I should have got pictures, or this is why I should have told them this, or this is why, you got to get burned, man. You got to touch that stove top sometimes. All right, you guys, I'm going to jump off here. Hope you guys have a good night. If you guys want, possibly we could do another one. We'll see. I got stuff. I gotta get some stuff cleaned up. I'm big jobs, big jobs. So anywho, take care. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hitting the like button. Share it, spread the word. Hope everybody has a good night. Keep your fingers. See you on the next one. Take care. Over and out. Baby. How do I turn it off? How do you turn it off? I don't know how to turn this one off. See you guys.